All right, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark, the number one stock market show on Spotify and one of the most popular market updates on YouTube, about to crack the 100,000 subscribers. We'll talk about this. And also in this show, we're going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and also show you how we are trading it. And today's Monday, March 20th. And there's a lot going on. It seems that the banking crisis continues. First Republic Bank is plummeting. And then over the weekend, we heard that UBS buys Credit Suisse for 3 billion Swiss franc at a huge discount. We'll take a look at this. And then we have the Fed meeting this week. So what can we expect? And more importantly, how are we trading these markets? Because we entered a few positions on Friday and we'll show you what we did. By the way, if this is your first time here, the one with the bruise on my head, Markus Heitkoetter. This super smart guy over there is my head coach, my head coach Mark Hodgett. We're real traders who trade live accounts. So therefore, we got a lot of trading experience and we're showing you how we trade these crazy markets. So trust me, we know our stuff and we're not afraid to tell you like it is. So if you're here looking for some honest insights into the fascinating world of trading, you are in the right place. And I mean, there is never a dull moment, Mark, right?
Mark, it's all over the place, Marcus, just like you and your little scuffle with a raccoon. I can't remember. There was a movie. Anyway, whether it's squirrels flying out of Christmas trees or raccoons coming at you fast and furious, I wouldn't have even noticed the bump on your head unless you mentioned it. So,
Right. Well, now
but
everybody knows it.
are you doing okay? You
I ran
okay?
into a tree.
Well, there was a raccoon somewhere involved in the story, but
There
that's
was
for
a
another
raccoon
day.
somewhere involved in this story. Yes, and I I am the hero, so I'll stick to that.
You're the hero.
That is
You're
my
the
part
hero.
of the story.
Well, hey, going back to the markets, gosh, you're like you said, never a dull moment, and we're all over the place, up, down, sideways, trying to figure out if this banking worry is something that traders need to be fearful of, or if it's a little bit overdone.
Yeah. So let's start with FRC because First Republic Bank has been in the news this morning, down another 12%. I mean, they plummeted last week, and ever since the SIVB collapse, they're now down 85%. So it seems that they are in the crosshairs here of traders and investors where they say this could be the next bank to fail. And I mean, with them being massively down, they have been dragging down the regional banking index here quite a lot, even though
Yeah.
this morning it's up, and we'll talk about the other regional banks here in a moment.
Sure. There you have the symbol KRE. It's the regional banking ETF representing those regional banks. And yeah, I mean, this is where there still is some uncertainty. And will more banks fail? Is it going to be, overdone, isolated with the measures that have taken place? Other banks coming to the rescue to provide liquidity to some banks. I mean, this is where there's still some uncertainty. I believe it's a bit of an overreaction, but there's still risk there. I
Yeah.
mean, even global banks, Marcus, Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
Was that pretty good? Deutsche Bank.
Deutsche Bank. Yeah.
Okay, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
They were down 5% earlier, but it looks like they snapped back.
Yeah. And I mean, this where over the weekend we had the news that UBS is buying Credit Suisse at a massive discount. So
Huge.
as of Friday, I believe that they were worth around 16 billion. And then we heard that they're taking them over. UBS are taking them over for $3 billion or something like this.
Yeah,
So
3.2 billion with the combined bank to have 5 trillion in assets. Yeah, it was a big discount, and really they made it clear that it was for emergency measures, or the Swiss government was involved in the deal or
yeah,
brokering it.
making UBS a massive bank, and this is where we saw this morning UBS are already soaring because now, as said, what is it, $5 trillion assets under management. I mean,
Yep.
we got to see Credit Suisse. I mean, they've been around for what, 165, 166 years or something like this. I mean, this is significant. But we already talked about it. I mean, they were mismanaged and had problems for quite a while. It goes back to February 2021, so it has been 2 years. So kind of the writing was on the wall, and I think that just right now in this market environment, it has accelerated.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I mean that's where right now I think that there's a just some nervousness because who's next? Is there someone next? Is this a 2008 type scenario, which I don't believe so, and it seems like those looking into it say that this is different, but it doesn't mean that there isn't some more concerns on the horizon.
Yeah. And right now, benefiting from this, absolutely. Gold. I mean, gold trading here at a multi month high this morning, trading above 2,000 for the first time since April 2022. So almost a year ago.
Yeah, nice move in gold. And, it was interesting because with in higher inflation and recession concerns, many people thought that gold would be spiking uh, sooner and rallying faster. But that was curtailed by the strong dollar. So for the longest time, the US dollar was so strong, it was putting a damper on gold's rally. There you have the dollar index, right? Typically, when you have a strong dollar, you have a lower gold. And when you have a weak dollar, you have higher gold. So now we're kind of getting, not only this effect of the flight to safety with what's going on with banks, but also that weaker dollars putting gold where some expected it to be a long time ago.
Well, plus, gold has some competition. Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. Bitcoin trading at what? A 9 months high at 28,000. So over the weekend, rallying. I mean, it started with the banking crisis. And if you look at Bitcoin year to date, up 70% year to date. I mean, that's
Crazy.
quite a move, right? So
Yeah,
is that
highest
the
since.
serious competition to gold? The flight into cryptocurrencies?
Well, or just a bank fail hedge, right? Everybody getting excited, thinking that okay, the banks are finally, done for, and let's go to crypto. Highest since June 12th of 2022. We'll see where it goes from here, but hey, you can't not notice that move.
Yeah. And then crude oil. I mean, crude oil, I mean, some call it the recession indicator. And crude oil trading at a multi month low. I mean, last time it was trading as low was in December 21. So it has been a while. This morning it was trading at 65, bounced back a little bit here. Now it's 66.50. But so what do you think? Is this the recession indicator that some people like to say about it?
Well, it's interesting, Marcus, because you have supply and demand factors with crude oil that's affecting prices, and if there's a recession or lower demand because of lower economic activity, that could be true. But another commodity that's often viewed as uh, a a bellwether benchmark to economic activity would be copper. HG1 is the symbol there, and copper's really kind of hanging in there. So I wonder if it's more just you have this tight range for the longest time in crude oil. We're getting a little bit of a dip, but it's interesting to see that copper's holding up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, these markets are definitely fun to trade. So before we take a look at our trades, we got to take a look at the economic calendar. And honestly, there's only one big event on the
Yep.
economic calendar this week, and that is the Fed meeting.
So 2-day policy state or 2-day policy meeting that is kicks off tomorrow, where the Fed meets behind closed doors to do their secret meeting and do their secret squirrel talk, and then finally on Wednesday in the afternoon at 2 p.m. you get the Fed funds rate, which uh, nobody really cares about. The Fed statement. Well, people care about the Fed's fund rate, but what I'm getting at is that the press conference, I think, is going to be the biggie. And there
Well,
is some uncertainty to whether or not we're going to have no rate increase or a quarter point.
Right. Because that is the big question right now. And as we're looking at the CME Fed Watch tool, I mean, this almost changes hourly. Right now, traders are expecting a 74% probability that there will be a 0.25% hike, 25% probability of that there's no interest or hike. And I mean, we talked about this table, and this also almost changes hourly of what the Fed is planning to do over the next few months. Right now, traders believe that we will stay at this rate, that we have one more rate hike, stay at this rate, and then that the Fed will have to decrease interest rates in order to, avoid a financial crisis here.
Yeah, and I need to claw back my statement that nobody cares about the Fed funds rate, because this time it is a bigger deal. I'll give you that. And it's interesting because you saw the probabilities there, and for a while there was questions over whether or not we get a 50 basis point hike, and then whether or not we'd stay the same. Right now, the probabilities are pointing to a quarter point, which I do think that the Fed is going to go with. And there's still some uncertainty here. Goldman Sachs, they believe that because of the stress on the banking sector, that the Fed will not raise rates this time around. I think that they kind of need to stay the course, because I think if they do not raise rates, it will actually create more worry and fear in the market, and they still need to tackle inflation. That's their goal right now. So I think the quarter point is in the cards, and the Fed's going to be doing that, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. And this is where the markets are just nervous right now and waiting and saying, okay, what's happening? So today, slightly higher, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of a sell off before Wednesday, because, I mean, at some point, there might be some profit taking, and we talk about the positions here in a moment. But let's take a look at this. For example, CTRA, that's one of our positions. So CTRA this morning nicely bouncing back. So right now up 1.3%. Again, you got out of this. I'm still in it because I wanted to collect the dividend, which was a nice 3,000 and something dollar payment, or will be paid on March 29th. But I was the shareholder on record. So this year, with the slump in crude oil, CTRA, Coterra Energy, was being taken down, but right now bouncing back. So I'm not too concerned about this one.
Yeah, it's trading in a nice range for the wheel, and I think it's still a good wheel candidate. Wanted to let it go at 26, and I'm happy with that decision. But I was looking at maybe selling puts again on CTRA last week. Didn't end up doing that, but I think it's a good candidate around these levels.
Yeah. So let's talk about Google first. So Google right now still a little bit down, even though the Nasdaq is up, and I believe that this is just some profit taking because Google was on a tear here. And I mean, at some point, if you have a run up here in Google over what the course of a week of around 15%, I'm not surprised that there's a little bit of profit taking here. So right now, still down for the day, 0.4%, but already climbing back up. And I have the 108 position here with a break even at 103.04. So we'll see what happens here for the remainder of the week.
Yeah, Marcus, AMD, similar for me, where we had this big run up over the last week or so. And with that run up, I have my assignment at 104. My break even is around 94, 95. And so I decided to sell the 101 calls, get 80 cents on that, bring my break even down. I believe that the rally was a little overdone, and we get a pullback this week. That's why I decided to sell calls slightly below my cost basis. It took off a little more than expected, but today down 3%. I believe for the same reason.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this was a 25% run. I mean, at some point you'll see some profit taking. I mean,
Yep.
after what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up days in a row, and again, every day 5% move. So yeah, not too surprised there. All right, so let's talk about two new positions before we get to PNC. So on Friday, I took the General Motors position. I sold the 3150 expiring on Friday, and that is still available right now. I mean, I got a little bit more. I got, let's just see, 30 cents, but right now still available for 14 cents. So if there's something that anybody is interested in, I like this trade here, right? I mean, 3150 seems to be solid support here for GM.
Nice chart. I agree with you. I didn't take the trade.
Well, why? Just because?
Well,
No, I
I'll
mean,
be
because
honest.
also when we look at the fundamentals, right? I mean, just going back here, we see low P ratio of 5.4, dividend yield of 1. And if you look here at the quarterly statements, we see super solid here. The annual revenue and income also super solid. So for me, this was a good trade.
Yeah, Marcus, and fair question why I didn't take it. Really twofold. One, I wanted to have an open spot this week in
Right.
case we get some volatility and another shopping day. Last week, there were many opportunities. I was able to take advantage of quite a few trades and actually close them. But I would like an opportunity or a slot after the Fed. I like stocks to rally. That would help my AMD position. But if we get a pullback, I want some buying power available. The
Yeah.
other reason that is a little more discretionary, you know how sometimes there's just a stock or maybe an industry that you're just not the biggest fan of?
I hear
You
you.
know, like some people are afraid to trade airlines. They lost money in airlines and they just say, airlines suck. I'll never trade them again. The automotive industry to me is just kind of just a slow mover. I don't know. I have a little bit of a bias there, but it's like I like it as far as trade what you see, not what you think. Great chart, great fundamentals. Absolutely agree with the decision. Just not for me.
Yeah. But the one that we both took was the IWN trade. So that's
Yep.
on the Russell 2000. So the trade that we took here is the 163 put. That is no longer available this morning. This trade is up right now, 60% of the max profit. So this is working out well, especially with today. The Russell moving higher, being up almost 2%. So that was a great trade that occurred on Friday that we both took.
Yeah, love that one. Nice chart, and might be able to close it soon.
Yeah. And again, I like to have up to 5 positions in my portfolio. So I'm being full because the last one here for both of us is PNC. And PNC this morning, even though, so that's PNC Financial Services, they are rallying right now, 4.7% up, even though First Republic Bank is still massively down.
Yeah, nice to see another rally here. A little bit of a slow start, but great to see that follow through. And I'd love to see it pop above 130. Again, I think that the reaction to the banking sector was a little bit overdone. And I know that many traders in Mastermind Group were able to take advantage of some opportunities that popped up last week because that fear had put so far below the current market price for many financial stocks like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. I mean, even Bank of America, there were some opportunities well below where it's trading now. This one, I think we could get a bounce and be selling calls soon.
Yeah, I'm also very confident here. And before we take a look at what's happening exactly in the markets right now, we got to take a look at this. You guys are awesome. Look at this. We are
Nice.
19 subscribers away from cracking the 100,000 here on the channel. So, if this is your first time watching here and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, do us a favor, just subscribe. We are 19 subscribers away from cracking 100,000. We're super excited about this. I thought that we could celebrate it with you this morning live as we are
Oh,
crossing the
close.
100,000. Seems that we can do this tomorrow with you. But yeah, super excited about this. So thank you for being loyal fans of this show here and supporting us on Spotify and also on YouTube. So, looking at the 5 minute chart of the S&P, it seems to be up, up and away. I mean, today the big gainers so far, the Dow up more than 1%, the S&P up 0.8%, but even the Nasdaq that was earlier negative are now turning positive. So, everything it seems right now a little bit positive for the day, and I do believe that this is where we will end up slightly positive for the day. I don't see a massive rally, but probably slightly up going into this week's main event, the meeting on Wednesday.
I'm a little surprised by this pop, but I'll take it.
We'll take it. We'll take it. So anyhow, as you can see, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. So make sure that you like this video, that you subscribe to the video, and then that you tune in tomorrow again. And we also have a few more videos for you right here. Check this out. These videos show you how we trade, how we are thinking, what we are doing here. And then we'll see you again tomorrow.
Happy trading, everybody.